Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Roundup. We're about most of the way through this week's. We are definitely most of the way through this week's roundup. So let's keep on trucking, kicking things off with the Amazing Spider-Man number 65 Point Deaths. Part of the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man story. Where we left off in the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. Spider-Man had so far managed to defeat each of the various scions of Satorak. But the last one kind of took a psychological toll on Peter Parker. And so Peter said he was done. He wasn't gonna. He was. Well, he was. He was no longer Earth's champion in the Covenant. And so the issue opens with a flashback to a young boy walking in to see his grandfather, and his grandfather's dead. In Peter Parker's apartment, Peter is telling out Doctor Strange's astral projection, basically that he's done with the whole Covenant, and he doesn't care that you know about the stakes of it. But Phil Coulson, Death, is looking on, and Doctor Strange's astral form can see Phil, and he convinces Coulson to talk to Peter. And so he does. And Coulson tries to be, inspiring and, give Peter the pep talk he needs to say, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna persevere through the Covenant." But Peter says that Coulson doesn't even know him. And he says that he's fought bad guys, invited calamity, endangered his loved ones, and for what? Nothing ever changes. All he's done is delay the inevitable. And so Coulson sees Peter's life through the people that Peter's lost. His parents, his Uncle Ben, Captain George Stacy, Gwen Stacy. Jean DeWolf, various others. Basically seeing Peter's life through his eyes and the eyes of others. But Coulson was able to. This also helped Coulson, as Coulson had come to realize there was a something that he had a memory he'd repressed from the time that he discovered his grandfather dead. That is the first page of the issue. Apparently, death was there. And Coulson has a conversation with Death. Death tells Coulson that when his grandfather died, a version of Coulson that only he knew vanished from this world. And when you die, you will join with all those different versions of oneself. Becoming not only the person you were, but the person you were to other people. So Peter leaves the house, gets a pizza, and calls up a wall. Not as Spider-Man, just as Peter Parker. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting. I did get the feeling that the overall story was going of That's a Spider-Man was going to largely have something of a focus on Peter's emotional state, long-term emotional state. But good issue. I wish it wasn't it wasn't simply a tie-in, and it could have been the focus of the primary issue. But I guess they want to keep the primary issues to just Spider-Man fights bad guys. So yeah. But anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Miles Morales Spider-Man number 29. Where we left off. T'Challa had taken Miles to Bast in the hopes that perhaps Bast could cure Miles of his vampirism, as Bast had done the same with T'Challa. However, Anansi showed up, stating that Miles was already claimed by them. And so, basically, a fight has been arranged by Anansi and Bast. A contest of champions, as it were. Black Panther versus Spider-Man, Miles Morales. And so, they duke it out. The fight kind of changes as now Miles is faced with visions of the Assessor, a vision of Varney, as well as a vision of Rabble. Meanwhile, Shift is continuing to stay at the with Morales, and he's treated as family and loved as such. By blood, he technically is. Or no, he is. So they put. But Miles was challenged Miles managed to overcome his challenges, and then and him and T'Challa continue their duel, and Peter's cured, or Miles is cured. However, there Anansi makes when Miles and T'Challa return to the real world. Miles has a vision of Anansi, which seems to hint at some possibilities in the future. But then heading back to Brooklyn. Anansi is watching Miles and states that his story has just begun. And that is where the issue ends. Interesting. Very interesting. I like the idea of at least Miles, if not also Peter, being at least somewhat tied to the Weaver god Anansi. Definitely, it feels right with both of them. Kind of the way the characters are, as Anansi is a trickster god. But let's see what comes from this. Moving on, though, to our last book for the moment, we've got Spirits of Vengeance, number 5. Where we left off, the Vengeance spirit had joined the party, as well, and the Spirits of Vengeance were faced with the mastermind, Dr. Kamar, and also with Kamar's mercenaries. But Johnny and Danny take care of the mercs, at least somewhat. Though they have weaponry that's able to at least cause the Spirits of Vengeance pain. But they managed to make a workaround, and Vengeance deals with Dr. Kamar, and turns out that Dr. Kamar is immune to the penance stare, it would seem. Having done something to his eyes, potentially something that was engineered by Ghostworks Labs, the lab that eventually is responsible for Ghostwriter 2099. We also see some of the robot skeletal robots that make up the body of Ghostwriter 2099, or at least the early version of those. But Battleino and Vengeance re-merge as two. And so Michael joins Johnny and Danny. Michael has a feeling that whatever is going on, it's not over yet. Johnny explains they have a bigger problem, and they came here to, and they had come to warn Vengeance about it. The spirit of violence has set its sights on them, though Danny says that a woman named Linda Littletree might be able to help them, assuming that the spirit of violence hasn't killed her yet. And in the God Quarry, Phantasma, whom we last saw in New Champions #1, is seemingly helping Robbie Reyes escape the God Quarry. And that is where the issue ends. I'm kind of digging the thought that maybe Robbie will be returning. I really liked him, and I especially liked his time as an Avenger. And if he does return, I do hope that he at least continues to be at least a reserve Avenger. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Blue Sky, Instagram, Mastodon, Twitter, Patreon, PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.